Papers now. Olivia Salazar-Winspear here in the studio with me for that. Hi there, Olivia.
Hi.
We're going to be starting off with that story that's really been dominating not just French but also European newspapers, the Horsemeat scandal.
Yes, the Horsemeat scandal that's now come to be known as Horsegate in the UK press.
Right.
They always like a buzzword.
It's always got to be a gate, hasn't it?
It's always got to be a media buzzword. And France has caught up on the front page of LeFigaro this morning. They had an editorial where they used for the first time the word Horsegate. In this editorial, more seriously, they flag up the fact that this is not just a globalisation question, the murky workings of the agroalimentary sector. It's first and foremost a health scare, and that's how we should be treating it, with more concern for control on everything that's involved with health and sanitation when it comes to food. Libération were headlining on this morning as well, with this very dramatic front page that we saw earlier on, with this horrible bone. We're not sure if it's
definitely brings it home to you, doesn't it?
A horse or a cow. That's a pretty
definitely
arresting image. Their editorial, though, flags up, it's a bit of a different take from Le Figaro. They flag up the practice of passing the buck when it comes to the big business of food production. When you've got a chain of abattoirs, distributors, wholesalers and manufacturers and then supermarkets, it's easy to say, oh, well, it was somebody else's fault. They calm down quite hard on the French company Figaro, saying this is a 100% French scandal. The blame lies squarely with them. It's nothing to do with Romania. Benoît Hamon, the minister who's in charge of this whole, commenting on this whole affair, has cleared Romania of any wrongdoing and says that Figaro will be investigated, and if they are found guilty of wrongdoing in any way, they could be fined up to €187,000.
Okay, so this is very much just the beginning of this affair, it looks like. We're going to move on to diplomacy. François Hollande in India as we speak on his 2-day visit. His first to Asia, very important, of course. What have the papers been saying about that?
Well, if you're to believe Libération, the French left-wing daily, the papers haven't been saying very much at all. They open their bit mean. They open their article by saying, well, you can look and look in the Indian press for something about François Hollande and you won't find it. The article's entitled Hollande sells his trademark in India. And they cast quite a critical eye over this first state visit, saying that Hollande's going more as a travelling salesman than a diplomat, because, of course, there could be 2 big deals in the pipeline. That's the sale of about 126 Rafale planes and maybe two nuclear reactors. Now, in the article, they contrast his visit very much with the visit of Nicolas Sarkozy in 2010, saying that compared to the former president, he's taking a very softly approach. He's being quite low-key about these big market deals that could be in the pipeline, whereas Sarkozy made a lot of noise about how much money was at stake for France. Le Figaro are covering the story as well, with, strangely, a very, very positive angle on this.
Not often fans of
François
Hollande,
and they seem to think that this Franco-Indian relationship's going really, really well. They say even that India considers France as one of its most important trading partners, which I hadn't heard before. But they underline the economic interest of this meeting, which coincidentally comes at a time when France has just published quite catastrophic figures for its growth last year. So you get the impression that Paris is struggling to make friends with a brick country.
Yeah, and they're pointing out what a big country it is and how many deals there are to be made, of course. François Hollande isn't the only socialist politician who's making the news. Manuel Valls is on the front page of Le Parisien. What's that all about? Well,
the Interior Minister's given an exclusive interview to the local daily here in Paris. Now, he's answered questions about national security, and among the issues he brings up is the threat of homegrown terrorism. Now, we heard a lot about this last year. He links it to the French intervention in Mali recently. He says that as the French army dismantles fundamentalist units in the north of Mali, that vigilance is even more important. And if you cast your mind back to the Mera affair that happened last year, an anti-Semitic attack in which 7 people died, including Jewish children, he said that France today potentially has dozens of Mera that we need to be aware of.
OK, and we'll have to read the paper if we want to find out whether he proposes any solutions. Thanks very much for that roundup of the French papers. Olivia Salazar-Winspear there for you. Well, we're going to run you through our top headlines before we take a short break.